They are who they are. Good morning. Just headed to Steep. Rachel and I had our Halloween party the other night, and that was fun. I'd never dressed up like a woman before, but we wanted to do the Beetlejuice thing. And I was like, well, I'll do Lydia and you do Beetlejuice. And she was like, that's a great idea. I actually bought a real chest plate, D size, and that drag queens use and everything else like that. And so that was interesting. It was fun. I kept getting asked, you feel different? Like all that stuff. I was like, no, I feel like myself wearing a chest plate. Actually, from the top 6 inches where the boobs are, it felt a little bit like body armor, but weight wise. But anyways, so you got to hold your shoulders back. So that was interesting. Anyways, at one point, we invited people over, and obviously, and a friend of a friend came over, and it's very eye-opening. This person is a therapist, which is terrifying. I've had some interactions with her before. She is very much hates men. Just hates men, right? She's in her 40s, right? It's too late for her. She's utterly broken. She's extremely biased. But here's the thing. As a therapist, you have your own biases, right? Everyone does. The key is to know your biases and then either not act on them, or if you have a client that you know that your biases are going to interfere with their growth and healing, then you need to get that client over to someone that doesn't have those biases, right? Very, very important. Hammered into us in my master's program at the University of Buffalo. This person, I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, I'm guessing she probably went to a private university, because I do know for a fact that with my cohort, there were 12 of us, and I want to say 6 people washed out, something like that, for various reasons. And one of them was very much for the kind of person that she is. They would have washed her out for sure. They obviously would have helped her find a path that's more fitted for her. But now, obviously, I don't know how she is in therapy sessions with her clients. She may very well be a total professional and keep her bias out of it. Totally possible. But at the same time, if that's the case, then she's being a different person than she normally is, which is also not good if you're a therapist. It's not good to be a different person than you are, because it's fake. And if you get a client that's sharp enough, they'll pick up on that and you won't be able to help them. Anyways, it was interesting. Another friend of mine, combat veteran, Desert Storm tanker veteran, me and Rachel were all sitting on the couch. And Rachel was, because there was conversation going on, and it was getting intense, let's say. And to hear what was coming out of her mouth, it was really interesting. It was so little awareness there that at one point I literally got up and popped popcorn in the microwave, and we sat there eating popcorn, watching it. Still no awareness of what was going on, right? Rachel, she was like, man, my anxiety is through the roof. I don't know how you guys can be so calm. And my buddy and I just looked at each other and we were like, because as veterans, we have our own issues that we deal with. But when we see stuff like this, we're like, this is a living meme. This is literally a living meme. I've never seen such toxicity in person before, like that. Never have seen it before. And another friend of mine, poor guy, was trying to be a mediator, and he was doing a good job. And I think in his heart of hearts, he thought he was getting through to her. But what he couldn't get is that he was just supply for her. He was just supply for this person, right? And I told Rachel, I was like, obviously, if it gets violent, then of course I'm going to step in. It's my house. So, but I was like, it's my house, but it's your home. You are more than willing or more than welcome to say something. I was like, and I will absolutely back you up. I was like, but right now, this is interesting, and Mike and I are sitting here feeling much better about our own issues. It was interesting, but I was like, no wonder I've seen women that go to therapy and end up being even more screwed up and more delusional and more disillusioned than ever. I was like, because they probably have therapists like that. Jesus. But hey, what are you going to do? It was interesting though. That person, won't be invited back, obviously, but interesting. It's sad when you see people with such a mental prison and they don't even see it. They don't even see it. Put it this way. At one point, my buddy, he was married to someone who is a true, completely self-centered, self-focused person, right? He even gave her a lobe of his liver to save her life and put themselves or himself $1 million worth of medical debt, right? 20 years with this person, I want to say. And he finally realized that he was codependent, and he went and got help and got that fixed and realized the person he was dealing with all these years and got out of that relationship. But obviously it's hard because you get hung up on these people, and it's hard to imagine someone with such little self-awareness and such manipulation that they can take anything and twist it into being your fault. Anything. Like, this was more recent. She was having a conversation, or I think she had called him. She was in the hospital or something like that. But they were talking, and in order to blame him and make him feel like things were his fault again, she brought up an incident where he had backed into something and broken his taillight on the car, right? Which, of course, he fixed. This is something that happens. But she couldn't. That was the only thing that she was coming up with to try to get him to feel bad and blame himself again. And he just couldn't. He was like, holy crap. He's like, I'm so glad I see this now. He was like, it's just clown world now. It's this, she's a clown. I was like, yep. And she's never going to change. She's never going to change. I guess she is heavily in therapy, but she's never going to change. I was like, she's going to use therapy to make herself look better, probably. That's usually what these people do if they do go to therapy. Clearly, nothing has changed. I guess a little social comparison is good sometimes. And I will say one thing that I've found through research and experience is what's happening with women that are very angry like this is the problem is they're going after all the same guys, and the rest of the guys are invisible to them. So, of course, they hate men. Of course, they think it's all men or most men, because at least 60 to 70% of the guys out there are just invisible to them. They don't even see them. They don't even see them. Literally don't even see them. Of course, they're going to think it's all men. They're going to keep going after the same guys, and the same things are going to happen. And if every relationship, or at least most of the relationships that you've been in have been poisonous and toxic, maybe look inward. Maybe there's something going on, right? Now, of course, they would be like, oh, you're victim blaming. Jesus Christ. There's a big difference between blaming the victim and acknowledging that you have stuff that is attracting the wrong person, or you have stuff that's causing you to go after the wrong person. Huge difference, right? Get some agency, fix yourself, find the right people. That's what us men tend to do, right? There's guys out there that hate all women, right? Because they're going after the same kind of women. They haven't learned to figure out who the good ones are and who the bad ones are. And they're going after the same types of women. After my last person, I got with someone that's complete opposite of the last person, right? Now, I understand the psychology behind that. I'm not blind to that. However, this person is not the other person, right? Not even close. None of my other partners have been even close to that, right? Except, well, there was one, but that was borderline. That was my first wife. That was a totally different thing. That's what actually got me interested in psychology. But yeah, it's, I don't know. You can't help these people. You just cannot help these people. All you can do is put the information out there and then walk away, because they are their own worst enemies. They are in their own mental prisons, and it's very likely that they will never break out of those mental prisons. You identify them, you give them the tools, you walk away. And like I said, if we do get a do-over in the next life, they're going to be so much further behind because they haven't even grown. But that's not your problem, and you can't fix that, and you cannot heal them. They have to heal themselves.